Over the years, cryptocurrency has gotten more popular and more widely used. In fact, in recent years, we've seen a small handful of athletes requesting to be paid in crypto, and even more taking to social media to voice their support for digital currency. As transactions become more accessible and corporate adoption of Bitcoin and other top cryptocurrencies increases, many believe these transactions will become commonplace. In today's video, we'll be discussing some athletes who are starting to get paid in crypto. But before we get to the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you don't miss any of the new videos we post. Back in May of 2019, Carolina Panthers Offensive Tackle Russell Okung tweeted, "Pay me in Bitcoin." And surprisingly enough, it worked. He made headlines in December of 2020 as the first professional athlete in a major sport to be paid in crypto. Okung receives half of his $13 million salary in Bitcoin. Technically, though, Okung was not directly paid in Bitcoin. He converted half of his $13 million salary to Bitcoin through a company called Zap. The company owns Strike, the exchange product that enables the conversion, which also allows individuals to easily convert funds from fiat to Bitcoin. According to reports, this is how it works. The US dollars for Okung's paycheck goes into an account that is controlled by Strike, with Okung as a custodian. When the dollars arrive, it is automatically converted into Bitcoin. So when he gets his paycheck, he sees Bitcoin in his Bitcoin wallet. Soon, anyone will be able to be paid in Bitcoin like Okung, as Strike has announced earlier access to this paycheck conversion program. When Okung did this, it set a new precedent for other professional athletes to do the same. When Okung converted $7.5 million of his salary to Bitcoin back in 2020, the price of Bitcoin was approximately $27,300. Bitcoin's price has more than doubled since then, meaning he has made a large profit. His total salary, including Bitcoin profit, would make Okung one of the highest paid offensive tackles in the NFL, and one of the top 25 highest paid players. A statement from Bitcoin explained, stating, "As far as 2020 NFL salary stats are concerned, Okung has entered the top 5 position. However, the NFL has recently decided to cap the league's salaries at $180 million, and a ball player's contract could change in 2021. Because the Carolina Panthers offensive tackle gets half of his salary in BTC, many proponents think of him as the highest paid player in the NFL, and not just ahead of the highest paid OTs. Along with Bitcoin, Okung made a statement himself stating, "Money is more than currency. It's power. The way money is handled from creation to dissemination is part of that power. Getting paid in Bitcoin is the first step of opting out of the corrupt, manipulated economy we all inhabit." He added, "Bitcoiners are not only disrupting the status quo, we're reclaiming power that is rightly ours. Pay me in Bitcoin today because I reality thanks to Strike and the Panthers front office." This is the acknowledgement of a new way, a new path, and a new future that recognizes diversity in finance and a reclamation of true financial control. Along with Okung, back in 2019, NFL quarterback Matt Barkley tried to persuade his NFL teams, the San Francisco 49ers and the Cincinnati Bengals, to pay his contract in Bitcoin, but he was unsuccessful in his pursuit. However, there is no word on whether or not his current team, the Buffalo Bills, has honored his request. On the other hand, aside from the 49ers and Bengals denying Barkley's request, the Sacramento Kings have a long-standing claim to being one of the most Bitcoin-forward teams in professional sports, become the first team to accept Bitcoin in 2014. Several other professional sports franchises are starting to adopt and accept Bitcoin as a means of exchange as well. For example, in mid-March of 2021, the Oakland Athletics, a Major League Baseball team, announced that they would accept Bitcoin for season suites, which seat up to 6 people. The team's administration decided to accept a single Bitcoin for the full season suites, no matter how much Bitcoin fluctuates in value. "We're going to hold it, we're believers in it, and hopefully it continues to go up. Maybe we can sign some big free agents with some of the proceeds. Who knows?" said Dave Cavell, the team's president. The Dallas Mavericks of the NBA have also started to accept Bitcoin as payment for game tickets and merchandise via BitPay in 2019. We want our fans who would like to pay with Bitcoin to have the opportunity to do so, said the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, Mark Cuban. If teams start accepting Bitcoin as revenue and include it on their balance sheets, direct payment options for their players will be far more accessible as well. Going back to the Sacramento Kings, they're set to become the first major sports franchise to offer a Bitcoin payment option to all players and staff. I'm going to announce in the next few days that I'm going to offer everyone in the Kings organization they can get paid as much of their salary in Bitcoin as they want, including the players, said team owner Vivek Ranadive. This means that any Sacramento Kings player who wants to be paid in Bitcoin will be able to directly. The Kings are able to do this in large part because they've been accepting Bitcoin as payment for tickets and merchandise for 7 years now. Price of Bitcoin in 2014 was under $1,000, which is far lower than the price today. If other trailblazing athletes such as Russell Okung and Matt Barkley keep demanding to be paid in Bitcoin, other teams will first have to buy and hold Bitcoin on their balance sheets before they're able to pay their athletes directly in Bitcoin. Going back to the topic of NFL players forming partnerships with cryptocurrency apps, Trevor Lawrence has also recently joined the crypto world. A statement about it stating the presumptive #1 overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, almost surely headed to the Jacksonville Jaguars, has partnered with a global cryptocurrency investment app called Blockfolio and will place his signing bonus into an account with the company. Lawrence then stated in a release, "When it comes to my crypto portfolio, I wanted a long-term partner in the space that I could trust. It's one thing if an eccentric and outspoken offensive lineman pushes to be paid in Bitcoin. It's another when the #1 pick and the future face of a franchise, if not the league, does it." Lawrence isn't receiving his signing bonus in digital currency from the Jaguars. Instead, it's being converted by Blockfolio, which is just as good for the purposes of this wager. Another young NFL superstar who has embraced the blockchain is Saquon Barkley. The Giants running back announced on Anthony Papuliano's show that he will only accept Bitcoin payments for all future endorsements. Another athlete who may be looking to start something with crypto is tight end Sean Culkin, and if he makes the Kansas City Chiefs roster to begin this season, he'll be the first NFL player to convert all of his salary to Bitcoin. Culkin, who is vying to be a backup behind starter Travis Kelce, would be paid his $920,000 salary by the Chiefs in US dollars, but in turn will convert it to Bitcoin. I've always had a lot of interest in and a passion for finance and economics from my days at Mizzou, Culkin said. Even before that, my dad was really bullish on gold. Early on, I was always exposed to his philosophies on what made gold an intractable investment, looking at it from a macro perspective. There's a lot of overlap between gold and Bitcoin. I really spent all of my time in the off-season the past year just hearing about this growing space in crypto. It just seemed like it was getting bigger and bigger. He added, through education and learning and having a level of conviction over the course of time, I just felt like I wanted to be compensated from my services in football in Bitcoin. Culkin, 27, joined the Chiefs this past February on a reserve future contract. He tweeted about his decision earlier, saying Bitcoin is the future of finance. Culkin has played 19 career NFL games and has caught 2 passes for the Los Angeles Chargers and Baltimore Ravens, but he said the upcoming season would be his first for converting his paycheck to Bitcoin. I want to do this with the thought that it would continue to rise over the long term, he said. This for me is a long-term play, a generational play. The more research I did and the more I zoomed out, I didn't necessarily link volatility to risk. I saw Bitcoin was growing at such an exponential rate. It's going to have some large pullbacks and dips, and people are probably going to say I'm crazy, but I'm focusing on the long term. It's a stored value. What makes Bitcoin so intraceable is its scarcity. Over time, it's deflationary by nature. If you look at history, it appreciates over time, Culkin concluded. With that said, that's going to wrap up this video. Thanks for watching.